You know, when you're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, you always think, oh my God, what's going on? Am I going to be able to achieve all the goals that I've set for myself? Especially when you're type 2 diabetic and a chef. You just say to yourself, am I going to be able to cook all the things I want to cook? Am I going to be able to taste all the things I want to taste? And so you start getting nervous and you start worrying about what the future looks like. Hi, I'm Franklin Becker, chef owner of the hospitality department. I didn't have the easiest childhood. My mom had a stroke when I was 7, and she was paralyzed on the left side of her body for about 1.5 years. And I was her hands in the kitchen. You know, everything she needed, I did. The only thing I remember is loving it and loving spending time with my mom. It all started there, and then it continued into my teens and working in kitchens and restaurants, and being a chef is ingrained in me. So I was on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean. I was a personal chef, and we had hit a storm. And every time I was getting sick, I thought it was seasickness. So I was drinking cola. I was drinking ginger ale, pouring sugar down my veins, trying to make myself feel better. Meanwhile, it was making me worse. And it turns out it was type 2 diabetes, just early onset. I thought about, how am I going to be a chef? How am I going to taste things? How am I going to work with these ingredients that are so tempting? You know, sugar is tempting. Fat is tempting. How are you going to do these things? And I thought my career was over. And then I became a parent, and my son was 21 months old. He was diagnosed with autism, and I just thought, how to change my life. But if I do change, and I start to adapt, and I start to look at things through a different lens, then I can be around for my wife, for my children, for my workers. But you got to get up. And you got to go back to doing what you do best. And I think that's what drives me every day. So I had to learn how to cook differently. I had to learn how to use ingredients more intelligently. I leaned into vegetables. I cooked the rainbow. And I learned how to manipulate vegetables to alter their textures, and I learned how to adapt. And that's what a good cook does, I think, is adapts to their surroundings. I think when my son was diagnosed with autism, that coupled with being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I think I started cooking for others. Prior to that, I think I was still cooking a lot for myself. I realized it wasn't about me. It was about you. What do you want to eat? How can I make you healthier? How can I make you feel better about yourself? When you feel good about yourself, you have more energy, you can do more things. And I have a lot of things to do. I want to travel more, and I want to bring back the flavors, the inspiration from those travels to my staff and share it with them. And my goal is to turn them into the best chefs that they can possibly be. When I was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I thought my career was over. My career's not over, it's just beginning.